Yesterday, a developer using Meko wrapped up for the day and closed their coding agent. They opened it back up with a fresh session, nothing in context, and just asked one question. Where were we? That's a live call out to Meko, and back comes what they decided and the one thing that's still unfinished. It was just there. There was no local file, nothing pasted in. In fact, I can prove it to you. Yep, project memory is off. There was no way for this to even be pulled back from a Claude.md file. Let's show you what's happening underneath. Meko is a context layer that sits next to your agent. You hand it context, it files it, and it hands it back to you when your agent comes looking. It's a context layer. Every agent kind of gets its own shelf. We call it a data pack. And the context on it comes in two kinds. Some is just private to you and the agent, and some of it is shared amongst other agents and other human users. You decide what moves from private with one agent through memories to shared learnings. That's the entire mental model. Start with the private side. They never told the agent to really save anything, it just worked, and the agent wrote it as it went. Every piece of context structured and stored, and it doesn't stop at the text, it pulls out the entities and links them together, so retrieval runs two ways at once. Vector search over the text and graph traversal over the connections to get those relationships. You get the context that matches and the context related to it. The embedding, extraction, and indexing all run server-side. It is basically RAG on the back end. None of it touches your agent's context window. That was private context that was scoped to one agent. Shared context is the other half. We can load in what already exists for our project, design docs, transcripts, PDFs, and now a second agent on the same data pack has never seen any of this, and they can answer some of those questions. One agent learned it, and then the human gets to promote what is shared knowledge between the two. Now a brand new agent or a second user that you authorize can see any of this activity it's shared and who it was shared from, which agent name, etc. Without rederiving it and without spending tokens on it, one agent found it and the other already knows. If you're ever concerned about what your agents actually did, you can go into the conversations and go down to our decision traces. And it shows you exactly what the agent reasoning was, the planned execution, and of course the execution itself, what the LLM called, how the conversation was persisted, and how the memory was added. If you wanted to see even more of this, you can view traces and kind of traverse down for any audits that you might want to do. We even have an observe view that allows you to go even deeper on that if you'd like. All of this is on the record, not what the agent reported doing, but what it actually did. You can open any run and the whole thing expands. Every retrieval that fired, what came back, every tool call, logs, scores of the entire session with our embedded Langfuse traces. In fact, our lead engineer debugs what other people's agents run from this tab. They open the trace instead of asking them for steps to reproduce. They can just follow the whole process. And of course, the tokens that it cost per conversation. It drops over time for a pretty concrete reason. The shared context means that your agents stop rederiving what's already stored. If you want to play around with a secondary agent, you can go into our WorkbenchLM. This is a good playground for you to explore each of your data packs. You can ask questions about the knowledge base items that you've loaded up. You can add more from here. You can add any previous chats, or just ask something about the situation. Even though this agent is in the browser and not at all the same one as Claude Code, it still has access to all of the same agent memories because of one big reason. I promoted this to a shared knowledge place. Meko is a shared context layer for AI agents. On distributed Postgres that we built, your agent can remember across sessions and you don't have to re-explain the project every morning. Context can be private to one agent or shared across your team. You can control what gets promoted. Retrieval is a vector plus graph, and it runs server-side off of your agent's context window. And every run is traceable what the agent did and not what it said.